All right, guys, so the next video, let's get into goal setting and value alignment, okay? Goal setting isn't as simple as just writing something down and then, making it on January 2nd when you decide to write all your resolutions and then never paying attention to it again, okay? That's not what goal setting is. It's not going to be helpful doing it that way. We're also going to talk about, and Joey will get, of course, a lot more into it than I have the ability to because I'm not as smart as Joey and he's the expert, but also how to align these values with our goal, okay? So in life, we all have these values that we more or less adhere to, like, okay, family comes first, friends, career, all of that stuff. How to make sure that you're lining up your goals with the values that you have. Because while it might not seem that important of a thing, it, in my experience, has been incredibly important to make sure that all the goals that I'm setting are also aligning with my values. It just makes them exponentially more powerful than if you're just setting some silly goal and you really have no reason for setting that goal. So let's get into it a little bit more. Joey, what is setting a goal and how is it not so simple? How do you do it better than just writing something down and hoping it comes true?
Right. I mean, we've been told when it comes to like things like goal setting, is like you need to create goals. You need to have something you're aspiring to. You need to write these things down, and you need to journal them. You need to think about it all the time. But we're never really taught that like goal setting is actually a really deliberate effort. It's really a deliberate skill and a practice that doing it correctly really matters.
Okay.
And so we can create this outcome goal, this goal that we want to have happen, this destination that we're gonna get to. And the metaphor I always like to use is, if you're going to drive somewhere, you're going to go on a road trip. You're not just driving the whole time with a picture of your destination in front of your face. You have to figure out all the roads, the junctions, the gas stops, all the little things you do minute by minute, hour by hour, that's going to navigate you to your final destination that you're trying to get to. And that's a better idea of what goal setting is, rather than just saying, I want to go to this place and then having no idea how you're going to get there, right? It's really easy to abandon your goals, become demotivated, to feel like it's not attainable for you. So the first thing we do need to identify to do this correctly is the outcome. What is this thing you're trying to create? Going back to the beginning of manifestation, what is it you're trying to manifest? Is it a win? Is it a specific level of fitness? Is it this level of accomplishment based on your sport, specifically in fighting, or maybe even somewhere else in your life? And once we've identified that outcome, now we need to look at how do we get there, right? And the first thing that we do next, in this next step, is we're going to identify what we call performance goals or milestones. And these performance goals and milestones are simply they're just markers along the way. That's that gas stop, right? Okay. On that road trip. That's that one turn that you got to make sure you stay in that right lane. Otherwise you're going to go to a completely different destination, right? So identify, this can be week by week. You're doing this is like, hey, at the end of the week, I want to know that I'm working on this skill this week, right? I'm trying to get more takedowns in sparring. That's my goal for this week. And that skill, plus all those other weeks and all those milestones we're trying to build to, add up to and get me closer to that outcome goal. So first, identifying what your overall goal is going to be. Okay. Then finding out what the milestones or our performance goals are along the way. I want my weight to be this week by week. I want these skills. I want to work on these skills. These are the conversations that I'm going to have at this time. And these are the things, the milestones, or the gas stops and the junctions that I need to get to.
Great.
But in order to get there, we break it down even further into what we call daily behaviors or process goals.
Okay. So it isn't really this idea of, hey man, what do you want to do with martial arts? And you're like, well, I want to be a world champ.
Yeah.
And like when I get that answer from people, especially initially, I want to just roll my eyes because I'm like, man, odds are you haven't thought about all of the steps that's going to take, all of the milestones you have to hit in order to do that. And yeah, so it's not just being like, oh, I want to be a world champ. We're hitting all of these gas stations, these milestones, making sure that it's a lot more digestible. I know that in the past it's helped me feel like I'm actually succeeding, because if I say I want to be a world champ and I'm not a world champ yet, every day is a failure. But if every day becomes, oh, okay, I want to get a little bit better at a single leg, or I want to get a little bit better at doubles or defense or whatever it is, that's a lot more digestible. That's a lot easier for me to feel successful. And in the long run, it's actually going to be the process of me becoming a world champ if that is what I decide to do.
Right. I mean, it's like the example of a kid saying like, I want to be an astronaut. But then when you get older and you can start to actually understand the process, it's like, wait, so I have to get good grades,
Yeah.
and then I have to get like a master's in engineering of like aeronautical or whatever, and I have to join the military, and I have to become a pilot, and then I have to be selected from this group of people in order to get in the process to actually become an astronaut. The cool thing about kids is they don't understand all of that, and they have this pure confidence and approach to what they want to have happen. And it's cute when they say they want to be an astronaut, right? But when you're an adult and you have to actually perform in your day-to-day life, if you can't break down your roadmap in order to get to where you want to go, you're just going to be one of those people who comes up with good ideas but never actually changes their behavior to get any closer to them, right?
Those are the most annoying people.
Right? They tell you all the day, this is what I want to be. I'm going to be a DJ. I'm going to be something else. I'm going to be a world champ.
Yeah.
And then you're like, and you ask them, it's like, oh, cool. Where do you train? What do you do? And they're like, well, I'm not doing any of that stuff.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow, man. Well,
This
you should
was
probably
waste.
start.
Yep.
And that's actually to that last part, right? The daily behaviors and those process goals.
Okay.
Because we can figure out our outcome, where we want to go. We can find out what the milestones and the performance are along the way. But if we aren't checking in with ourselves day to day to make sure that what we are doing is actually aligning with those, or getting us closer to those performance or milestones and eventually to that outcome goal, then we're actually not going to get any closer, and we might wonder why.
Okay.
This is where we start to realize that your daily journaling, your gratitude practice, the way you utilize that in your training, these are start to become those daily behaviors. This could be like, am I sticking to my diet, right? Did I show up to practice when I'm supposed to? Am I getting up on time? Am I going to bed when I'm supposed to? Are there other distractions in my life that either I need to minimize or completely remove, because that's an impedance to my goal, right? And so we want to make sure that we're identifying all of these daily behaviors and process goals, these milestones and performance goals, and are these things getting me closer to my outcome?
Hope you guys enjoyed the video, guys. Make sure that you guys like and subscribe, comment below whatever you guys want to see next. Maybe we'll do a part 2 to the series. Also, make sure that you guys are checking out Cory Sandhagen, MMA.com for the full instructional. They are badass. I know that you're going to, find some good out of them, get some information, some digestible, some, really helpful information from the instructionals. Make sure that you guys are checking those out. Cory Sandhagen, MMA.com. Like and subscribe again. Peace. Love you guys. Later.